Hello everyone, this is Agent Ross and welcome back to the channel. Before we touch any code, I want to slow things down again and look at the big picture. Right now, we already have something very important. We have data moving, but we can't see it yet. This is intentional. In ECS, logic and visuals are separate. Movement already works, even if we don't see it. Today, we are finally going to make that data visible. And we are going to do it in the ECS way. No shortcuts, no special cases. Rendering will be just another system. Why rendering is a system? In many tutorials, rendering lives in the game loop, but that creates tight coupling. It means your game logic and your graphics are glued together. In ECS, rendering is a behavior, and all behavior belongs in systems. That means rendering should live in a render system. This gives us powerful benefits. We can disable rendering, swap renderers, or even run the game without visuals. Before we write a render system, let's think carefully. What information do we need to draw something on screen? We need a position. That's our transform component. And we need a visual object. That's our mesh component. If an entity has both transform and mesh, then it's renderable. And that's our rule. Let's create a new file called RenderSystem.js. We are going to create this file under Systems folder. This system will sync ECS data to Three.js. Inside this file, let's go ahead and import system from ECS system.js. Next, we are going to import query, and we will also import transform. And finally, we are going to import mesh. Next, we are going to create the class export class, and we are going to call this RenderSystem, and it's going to extend from system. Inside here, we're going to say constructor, and we will be passing renderer, scene, and camera. And inside the constructor, we're going to say this renderer equals renderer, and this scene equals scene, and finally this dot camera equals camera. After the constructor, we're going to say update, and we're going to pass world and delta time. And inside the update, we're going to say constant entities, and we are going to query entities with, and we will pass the world, transform, and the mesh. And next, we're going to run a loop. We'll say for constant entity of entities. And inside this loop, we're going to say constant transform equals world dot get component. And we are going to pass the entity and the mesh. And next, we're going to say constant mesh component equals world dot get component. And same thing, we're going to pass the entity. So this one, we're going to pass transform. And the next one is mesh. And right under here, we're going to say mesh component dot mesh dot position dot set. And inside here, we're going to say transform dot x, transform dot y, and transform dot z. And finally, right under here, we're going to say this dot renderer, render, and we're going to pass this scene and this dot camera. All right, let me explain what it all does. We extend the system-based class just like before. In the constructor, we pass in the renderer, scene, and camera. This system needs access to those because it's responsible for drawing. Inside update, we use query to find all entities that have both transform and mesh. That's our definition of something that should be rendered. For each entity, we read the transform component and copy its values into the Three.js mesh position. This is the moment where ECS data becomes visuals. Finally, we call renderer.render. Notice that rendering is no longer in the game loop. It lives entirely inside this system. Up until now, we have been manually calling each system from main.js. That was intentional. We needed to clearly see what runs every frame in what order. But now that we understand system, rendering, and the game loop, we are ready to take the next step. We are going to let the world manage systems for us. This is where our ECS starts to feel like a real engine. We will upgrade the world.js to manage systems. The world already manages entities and components. It makes sense for it to also manage systems. Let's add that responsibility now. Inside the world.js file, let's go ahead and add this.system And if we scroll down, we can add system. And in here, we're going to pass system. And inside here, we're going to say this.systems.push. And this should be systems.push. And we're going to pass the system. And finally, we are going to add the update delta time. And right inside here, we're going to have a loop. We'll say for constant system of these systems. And we are going to say system.update. And we will pass these and delta time. And the existing entity and component methods remain unchanged. Now let's go ahead and save the file. Let me explain. So we add a system array to store all system, and add system function simply pushes a system into that list. The update function loops through all systems and call their update method, and the world now control execution order. Now comes the payoff. Main.js becomes extremely simple. It no longer knows about individual systems. Let's go ahead to main.js file. Inside here, instead of saying const movement system, we're going to change this and say world.add system. And we're going to add new movement system. And we will also add world.add system. And we are going to add the new render system. And inside here, we're going to pass the renderer, scene, and the camera. And if we scroll down here, we can actually remove that. And we can also remove that. And instead of all that, we're going to go here and type world.update and pass delta time. And let's go ahead and save the file. And as you can see, the cubes prints again. We can see the box now, but the edges are blurry. Let's go and try to fix that. If we scroll up where we have the renderer, what we can do here, we can say renderer.setSize. And inside here, we can pass Windows inner width and Windows inner height. And right under here, we're gonna set the renderer.pixel ratio as well. Set pixel ratio. And we're gonna set this to Windows.device pixel ratio. And if we go ahead and save this, that should fix the blurry issue. Next, we can go ahead and add the resize handling. We can scroll down, and right before our game loop, what we can do, we can say resize handling. And inside here, we can say Windows.add event listener. We'll say resize function. And right inside here, we can say camera.aspect ratio, Windows.inner width divided by Windows.inner height. And the next, we are going to update camera.update projection metrics. And right inside here, we also want to set the renderer set size. And we will pass the Windows.inner width again. And same with Windows.inner height. And let's go ahead and save it. Now when we try to resize the browser, it should work properly as well. Alright, main.js now set things up and advances time. This is exactly what we want. Why this design matters? Because the world owns systems, we can control order, enable or disable systems, or even run the game headless. This is the architecture used by real engines. You have just built a simplified version of it yourself. At this point, you have a real ECS engine. In the next episode, we will add input handling and player control, again, as systems. If this helped you, please subscribe and like the video. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'm Agent Russ. See you next time.